thank God that that is not the testimony now. However, once again, God is faithful, because my son, he really broke a lot of things off of me just by being born. And that was just an awesome season to go through, just having that healing. And I guess it was so much healing so that I guess I wanted another one. He wasn't even a good 9 months when we found out that we were pregnant with twins. And still ministering, still teaching, still preaching throughout all of this, taking care of my family, taking care of other ministry engagements. I'm grateful that God saw fit to accelerate my training and learning process. I went from not being credentialed or not having man's hands laid on me to everything happening at once. That's 11 years ago. It was intense, and I don't understand how people can so casually want positions and places where they shouldn't.
Virtuous woman, wifey type, does you good and not evil all the days of her life. Working with her hands, she up all night. I don't know what she doing, but she doing something right. That Proverbs 31 woman, she's wise, she's worth more than rubies. That Proverbs 31 woman, the one who fears the Lord. A woman 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 who fears the Lord. Her price is far above rubies. You can't find her in the jewelry. I can't find no one to compare to you. To be honest, I never knew that God made a woman like you. A woman who fears the Lord. 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 Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Everybody, welcome to Son of a Woman podcast. I am your host, Angelica Montgomery, and I'm very excited to share with you the topic for today. But first, I want to invite you, if you have not already, subscribe, follow, went to the website, became a member, and even hit the notification bell to let whatever social media platform you're listening to, whatever podcast you're listening to, download the episodes, listen in, make sure that you get notified each and every time that I upload another podcast. So listen, you get a goodie today. I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about my background, my history. Many of you may know me and some of you may not. And this is a formal introduction, if you would. So for those of you who do not know, I have been raised and brought up within the church. I can remember as far as the early 90s being in the church. Some of my earliest memories are that of going to church, going to school, going to revivals, going to church services every single time the doors were open. My father was a deacon at the time. My mother, very much a part of the church, a full household. I'm number 7 out of 9 kids. It was so eventful. I'll put it that way. It was such an eventful household. And so a lot of my upbringing was strict. However, of course, with the times, my household did change. And so I was a part of that group of kids. Even though I'm number 7 out of 9, I was still a part of that group within my household where my parents changed by the time we were teenagers. So we got to do things that my older siblings did not get to do. And it was quite a conversation once we got older. Also, too, a little bit about my history, and one of the most important things that I believe is in anybody's life. At the age of 7, I was baptized and received, do you hear me? Received the Holy Spirit. Over the years, I would have refreshings, renewals, and it was very, very important to me to have a relationship with God and to uphold it and to maintain it regardless of what life brought. And, in spite of situations, whatever might have happened, that was a huge part of my life. So with that being said, I continued on, and my personality as a child was that was very welcoming. If you were a child around the same age, I made you feel like you were a part of the crew, right? And I would also bring anyone that was new to church, bring them kind of under, and we would have conversations and talk. And I would always encourage the young women to maintain their relationship with God. So that's always been a part of my makeup. So growing up in the church, there was a huge advantage, as you would, for me, because my parents were also ministers themselves. So I got everything at home. So teaching, training, we did everything. We had Bible studies at home. We fasted as a family. We prayed together as a family. My family were strong believers in, love starts at home, spreads abroad. We read all those scriptures. I remember growing up, my dad would be the one to wake us up in the mornings and pray with us and read the word with us. And so that's some of the things that I remember growing up with. And it would lead to my mother having favor, you can say, because the type of church that we went to wasn't typically a woman affirming church, right? We're going to put it that way. We're going to use it for us women, because we know that in ministry, sometimes we're not always welcome. So my mother had the privilege of hosting an all-night prayer meeting, and she needed women to speak. And so at the time, I was around 15 years old. She asked myself and one of my other siblings, my sister, to speak for this event. I was nervous, but it was something that I knew that I needed to do. And my dad did not hesitate to equip me with the things that I needed. My mother gave me the space and opportunity. So I was raised, into this. So 15 years old started me on my ministry journey. And so I would go on to do, I believe we did like a couple more, 2 or 3 more women's services where it was all night, and we took turns. We would pray, we would teach, pray, teach, pray, teach, pray, teach, pray. We would just go back and forth. And so that's what sparked my ministry at 15. And so ever since, I would continue to do the same. I did a lot of teaching among my peers at first, not just to women. Now, mind you, I'm 15 years old teaching and preaching at these women's events that were women, of course, were older than myself. And then I would move on by the time I'm 17, started doing more services where I was the main speaker, or I shared a platform. Many of you might have heard of platform speaking, where it would be either myself and about 3 or 4 other speakers. And we did that a lot at the surrounding churches in the area. At the same time of my ministry really taking off and speaking around town, I had left my then childhood church. So there was 2 different childhood churches. I'll go into detail probably at a later date. But the then childhood church, I did leave with my sister, and we started going and attending another church. And at that specific church, I was speaking on a regular basis, like every week for Bible study for a short period of time. It didn't take me long to figure out where I needed to be. That was definitely a huge prayer point for me. I believed in fasting, still do, fasting to prepare for my future. Essentially is what I'm getting to. It wasn't left to a vision board, and I'm not saying that to slight anybody, but a lot of what I did when I was 17, 18 years old, because At the same time, right, all of this is happening, life is transitioning. 17 years old, I graduate from high school. So graduating high school, I already have one career down. I already have licenses to be a cosmetologist at the time. And so ministry, church home, all of those things are in my spirit, praying about future, fasting about future, listening, hearing God. At the same time, having speaking engagements, preaching either within the city or in surrounding areas. So it was really, really huge for me to be in tune with Holy Spirit. So that was not foreign for me at that age. It might be foreign for some other people. My husband will tell you when he met me, I was heavy into praying and fasting. Listen, I didn't go nowhere. You didn't see me doing nothing. We were praying and fasting about the future, praying and fasting about the word, praying and fasting about teaching and preaching, whatever it was. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. So long story short, within that short amount of time between the age of 17 and 19, not only am I continuing to speak, continuing to preach, and to travel to surrounding churches within the area, supporting other ministry friends. There was a whole group of us that were, I believe most of us were like under 20, and we were all preaching at each other's churches, hosting revivals, driving hours away, at least an hour away, 1 or 2 hours away, depending on where we were to preach at various places. And so that's kind of what we were doing. Shortly after, God revealed to me that I needed to make a shift in who my spouse was going to be. And although I'm a strong believer, and you will hear me throughout this podcast talk about how a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. However, we have to acknowledge what people are finding us to be. And if their definition of us is not a wife, we need to move on. Yeah, ouch. Because I know a lot of times we may find people to be a husband or be husband quality. But if we are not defined as wifely material, we haven't been found. It's not time for us to settle down. It's definitely up to them to hear God give them that definition for us. So within a matter of months of me letting that relationship go, and I'm so serious, within a matter of months of me really letting that relationship go, I met my husband, and he was like, "You're it. You my wife." Although there's an argument about who said what happened, what transpired. Ultimately, I did not play that. I did not do holding hands and kissing and none of that. We had to be an item. We had to, be a part. And so like I said, shortly thereafter, within that whole process. So I was married 2008, which would have made me 19 years old. Did I do math right? Yeah, I think so. 2008, we got married. And shortly thereafter, found out I was pregnant with my son. And so all this time, I'm still preaching. I'm still, we're still doing revivals. We're still going to friends' churches, supporting them, driving around the state, doing what we do. And it never really stopped. When I met my husband, I had no idea what he was involved in. I just knew that God said that this was my husband. That's what I knew. I knew without a shadow of a doubt. And it was made clear to me that this was my husband. So we got married shortly after meeting. And like I said, didn't stop with ministry. We might have took a little bit of a break, you would say, to kind of figure life out because we were so young. But we still were ministering and teaching. And at the time, my husband was very, very much into mime, and so I was very supportive. It was like a complete flip because I was not exposed to praise dance or mime in my upbringing and in the churches that I was going to. However, his ministry impacted me so much so that I became like one of his biggest supporters, even to the point where he talked and convinced me into making him a robe. And that's how I'll get into, when it comes to business and things of that nature. Just he really pulled that out. And I just wanted to support, like, oh, you need a new robe? I think I can make it, It's like, oh, do you know how to follow a pattern? I've never done a pattern before. I've always created my own patterns. Once again, growing up in a large family, I was exposed, of course, hey, it's the 90s, exposed to hand-me-downs. We did hand-me-downs. And although I had experience working and having summer jobs and things of that nature, and I would buy occasionally my own things, I was really, really adamant about my own style at a very young age. So that was kind of pulled out as well. It's like a lot of things happen simultaneously for me. It's like at the same time, like did this, boom, 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 boom. But so getting to at least the first half of our marriage, had my oldest son, just a doll baby, like extremely doll baby. I won't say that I was just ultimately ready for motherhood. I was just excited. If anybody knows about, going through certain pains, and at the age of 17, I experienced a car accident, and just having that sunken feeling that, something's going to go wrong. If you try to conceive, something is going to impede upon you having a successful pregnancy. It was really, really a relief to know that everything was fine. He came out fine. I might have had a little bit of a snafu. We'll hear about that story later. But ultimately, I was blessed to have him, in spite of the torment and, the constant, oh, you're never going to carry, you're never going to have a baby, you're never going to be able to conceive, it's going to be difficult for you because of this, because of that. I had stomach issues, I had all these other ailments and things of that nature. But just, praying and trusting in God. Like, once again, I'm a preacher at this point, not ordained, because we'll talk about that later as well. But I could go a whole hour about that particular topic. But at the same time, just trusting in God and believing that what's going to happen is His word's going to come to pass, and, believing that He's going to keep me, right? He's going to protect me no matter what part of life I'm going through. And so having my son was really a blessing. It was really a blessing. It brought a lot of healing during that season of my life, because I had switched my choice of who I was going to marry, right? Of who I was betting on, I would say. Because I had switched, I did not have initial support. I'll put it that way. I did not have initial support. And I thank God that that is not the testimony now, but it was no initial support. So there was a depression that kind of settled and attempted to take over and drown out in that season. However, once again, God is faithful, because my son, he's quiet. He's reserved. He's very, very pensive. I absolutely love my children, and he definitely really broke a lot of things off of me just by being born. And that was just an awesome season to go through, just having that healing. And I guess it was so much healing so that I guess I wanted another one. My body said, oh, let's do more. And he wasn't even a good 9 months when we found out that we were pregnant with twins. And that was a fascinating ordeal, because we knew from the get-go, we knew from the jump. We were preparing for 2 from, I think it was like 8 weeks when we found out. So it was it was extremely early. So it was like, oh, you said I wasn't going to conceive, you said I wasn't going to have any kids, and here's 3 in the first 2 years. So that was fun. Mind you, still ministering, still teaching, still preaching. I think that was probably one of my last major revivals that I did when I was pregnant with the twins. I'll never forget back when I was younger, I would pray so hard and for so long after some services, and that was just my time. I still, of course, pray hard and long now, but I'm at home now. This is my home. But back then I would do it until I got a little bit of control little bit of control now. But back then I would get so drunk, and I remember having a vision of myself preaching while I was pregnant, and I was like, oh Lord, that is crazy. Like, a woman up preaching while they're pregnant. And sure enough, I preached while I was pregnant with Ian, and while I was pregnant with the twins. But the twins, I was pregnant with them, and I was wearing house shoes. I'll never forget that. I was wearing house shoes, and that was fun. I believe my mom has that recorded because she came. They came to that one, but wild stuff. Wow, it's amazing how God just constantly like answers prayer and reveals things to us and allows us to see ourselves in the way that He sees us. And it's just great, awesome, amazing. And so I had them, and shortly thereafter of conceiving them, like our world kind of turned upside down. Car broke down. Eviction notices. Mind you, we're young. We have a young family. It's just us three. Not being able to afford things. When I tell you, it dawned on me so easily and so quickly, and I was like, hold up, babe, I don't think you're supposed to be working. And that doesn't make sense, right? That really doesn't make sense. But it just came to me. I won't even say that I was in prayer. The pattern and the way that things were going at that point in time, every single time, it was a well-paying job. It was, wonderful for us. Money was coming in. My husband had the job. I wasn't working, of course, because I was pregnant. And every time I got pregnant, it was still high risk. It was still high risk. But every time I got pregnant, I was home, or I would have to be on bed rest. I was on bed rest with my oldest. I was on bed rest with my twins. Dealing with that season of life after conceiving the girls, everything just went upside down. And just listening for God, and it's like, what is happening? What's going on? I know this is what you have decided for me. This is the path that you told me that I needed to go on, and I'm just trusting in you. And it did not feel like good at times. It did not feel wonderful at times. All I had was like a shred. When I said it was a shred of a memory of the words that God spoke to me when I was 17. At the time, I believe I was like 21, 22. And I could just remember God saying that He would take care of me, and me asking God to always show me what I should do, how I should go, and the things that I needed to secure happiness in life, right? It was all about happiness. God, help me to be happy about my decisions. Help me to be happy about my spouse, happy about my life. And in that choosing, I experienced some hard moments, and it was that shred of memory that had to remind me that yes, God spoke to me, and yes, this was His answer. And I just had to continue to push and to mark every moment and say, thy will be done in my life. Like, whatever's going to happen, whatever's going to take place, I'm going to listen for you. I'm going to listen out for your word. And I'll never forget, it was another job right after we had got things settled, got another apartment, got another car. We were making our way slowly, but we were making our way. Had found another job for my husband. I had a job at this point. I pretty much had the girls and then went straight into work. It's like, I cannot stay home. This is not gonna happen. We need a 2-income house. And that was a very interesting season that God allowed me to walk into. I got a lot of experience out of it. And there's so many things, so many nuggets that I still hold dear that I learned from that season of working. And within that time frame, I remember it was like, as soon as everything got good, as soon as everything got going, my husband started receiving ministry engagement requests all over, like all over. Forget the city that we were living in at the time. He was getting called across the country, out of the country. And I had to ask him, like, what is going on? Like, what is it that I don't know? Because they're not asking for mime. And this is what I knew you as a mime. I know that you preach and I know that you prophesy, but this mime thing has been like our go-to. So shortly after having the girls, right, mind you, this is 2 years, I find out that my husband has done these other things outside of mine, such as start churches and raise people up and establish churches in other countries. And I'm like, excuse me? Huh? What you say now? And so I was thrust into this whole nother, I mean, it was just, forget white picket fence. Oh, we're just going to be pastors. You know, we're just going to lead a church. You know, I'm okay with being a first lady. Just have to figure something out. I'm kind of been, you know, groomed, if you would, for this position, you know, not in the way that you would think, because mind you, I did not grow up 100% in an African-American church. Yes, maybe that's the little piece that I have to make sure that you all understand, which is why I've been where I've been, how I've been, because my upbringing is very, very, I like to say, it's quite exposed. Not exactly sheltered, but quite exposed. So my leadership experience varies between your common African-American church as well as a sort of CCM Pentecostal church. So I went from PAW to UPC, for those of you who know what I mean. And so dealing with leadership in kind of both areas, and what that left me with is a pretty interesting background. I could share some stories. Pretty interesting background. I've done Sunday school. I've done vacation Bible school. I've done children's ministry, youth ministry. So it's a pretty well-rounded background. I'm trying to hit the points for you all because I have over, and I just thought about this, I have over 21 years of ministry and leadership experience. And so I can't really fit everything into our time frame. So it's going to have to be spread out throughout our conversations. But I just wanted to give you all a gist of where I've been, where I've come from, and kind of how I've got here. Mind you, throughout all of this, education biblically is extremely important. And although my time was mostly spent, you know, taking care of my family, taking care of other ministry engagements, I am grateful. I'm grateful that God saw fit to accelerate not only my training and learning process, but also the one who would teach and minister an education to me. I'm going to say it that way because it had to be, it was definitely a breaking down of a lot of theological errors and a lot of issues within doctrine and teaching, so that I would be able to understand fully what God has said, and not make up my own sayings to make myself feel better. And so with that being said, how I am today is mostly accredited to the experiences that I've had with God over the last 10 years, although a lot of ministry and leadership experience has been accumulated in those early years, and even some within the last 10 years as well. But I would say a lot of the foundation for what I was taught and trained comes from me being young, because I started, you know, doing ministry at 15. A lot of some of the styles and how I teach and how I speak and how I do things do come from that, just a little bit, but the majority within the last 10 years. Many of you may not know, but 2015 was a very pivotal year for me. I was very rapidly progressed and processed. And it was, I don't understand. I don't understand how people can so casually claim being a prophet or being an apostle, because I remember 2015 as being such a very hard year. A lot of hard truths, a lot of uncovering. I mean, God was not leaving me alone at all. Like chastisement, revealing, uncovering, dealing with my selfish ways, dealing with my attitude, dealing with my perspective on things. I mean, just so much. It was a level of darkness and depression at the same time. You know, God is saying, I want more. I need more from you. And it was during this year, by June, I was consecrated a prophet. And then shortly thereafter, in October of the same year, I mean, it's still going through, still getting pressed and pushed to my very limit. I'm like, how much more? I'm exhausted. I'm tired. You know, how much more do you need, God? I'm birthing in the spirit and moving and pushing. And October of that year, commissioned an apostle. So consecrated and ordained a prophet and commissioned apostle the same year. And I'm like, God, I went from not being credentialed or not having man's hands laid on me to everything happening at once. So that was, now that's like 11 years ago. So it was so intense. And I don't understand how people can so casually want it. Even now, even to this day, I still like, Lord, you sure I can go back to being an evangelist? I can go back to just, to this other way. No, won't let me. But people are in positions and they're in places where they shouldn't be. And I can honestly say that I pray for them. I do. I pray for them, because at some point, place, or in time, in the middle of having to operate at the highest capacity, you will be processed. You will have to go through some things that's going to squeeze out the oil that you need, that is necessary for this assignment. And so if you take on an assignment that's not yours, you have to find some oil somewhere. You have to find some oil, have to get some oil from you somewhere. And it's best to have the oil before the anointing. Listen, I have had fun sharing so much. I feel like I just dumped a lot on you guys about my upbringing and my past. Like I said, I haven't even made it to how Aiden got here. But listen, I wanted to share that much with you guys so that you just understand a little bit more about me and why I am so and thus. But listen, if you have not already, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, go to the website, sonofAwomanpodcast.com, become a member of the website, check out everything that we have going on over there, even get a peek at all of the things that I have for you. We can keep the conversation going over there as well. Any questions, any things that you have, please feel free to reach out, sonofAwomanpodcast.com, contact us, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.
I can't find no one to compare to you. To be honest, I never knew that God made a woman like you. A woman who